Welcome back, everybody. This is News and Rumor Roundup brought to you by Turnbuckle Tuesdays, twice a month podcast for all your random wrestling shenanigans, history, archives, and news. We're going to dive into the news, but let's do a quick update. We've got some debuts to talk about. We have some returns to talk about. We have some poor decisions to talk about. And we have the passing of a wrestling legend to talk about, and we'll get into it right after this. It was announced from multiple sources on August 4th that Dory Funk Jr. had passed away at the age of 85 at his home in Ocala, Florida. Dory Funk was a second-generation professional wrestler alongside his brother Terry Funk. They trained by his father, Dory Sr., Ricky Romero, and Pedro Morales. Dory made his debut in 1963 for his father's NWA territory, the Texas-based Western States Sports. Notable matches in his father's territory include bouts with Harley Race, Iron Mike DiBiase, and Wild Bull Curry. By February of 1969, Dory Jr. had a long list of accolades and credited wins within the squared circle and became the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Holding the belt for the next 4.5 years, Funk is the second longest uninterrupted reign of the NWA's main prize. With stints with nearly every major professional wrestling promotion in and outside of the United States, including the WWF, All Japan, ECW, and multiple NWA territories, Dory and his brother spread the Funk name across the world as one of the very best wrestling families in the world. Dory Funk Jr. wrestled for 61 years, retiring in 2024. Dory was also a professional wrestling coach, first creating the Funking Conservatory in 1991, a short-term class teaching the Dory Funk method of professional wrestling, a style dedicated to safety, athletic fundamentals, and mat psychology. By 1999, in partnership with the WWF, he opened the Funking Dojo, a wrestling school teaching his style of professional wrestling, with alumni including Matt and Jeff Hardy, Mickey James, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, and Kurt Angle. We lost a legend here, folks, and the world is a lot darker without both Funk brothers. We lost Terry a while ago. These guys were legends all over the world, Japan and the United States specifically. They inspired thousands of kids to wrestle, and they gave them the opportunities to do so. Everything I've heard about the Funk brothers, they were the greatest mentors you could have as a professional wrestler. I really wish I would have had the chance to meet them. It just sucks that they're gone. On August 11th, it was announced that Austin Creed, formerly WWE's Xavier Woods, and Kofi, formerly known as Kingston, the wrestlers formerly known as The New Day, have been announced to be involved with and on the boat for the 7th annual Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Cruise in November of this year. I really want to go to one of these. A cruise and wrestling? Come on. With Jericho under contract to AEW and the last 6 cruises featuring many AEW talent and staff, as well as at least one episode of Dynamite from the first cruise, if I remember correctly, it's highly likely that this serves as the unofficial or soft announcement that the wrestlers formerly known as The New Day will be signed with AEW in the very near future. I expect them to show up for All In. I do. I really, really do. I expect them to be in London for All In. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to play a part. But I expect them to be there. So many dream matches are going to happen. It's going to be great. Great. As reported by Fightful, Brie Bella is out with injury. During the Bellas and Paige's match at SummerSlam versus Fatal Influence, Brie broke her scapula in 3 separate places. Brie believes this happened when she took the cannonball against the ring steps, as you can see in the video, and you can see throughout the rest of the match that she was really favoring that left shoulder. Scapula is that shoulder blade in the back of the shoulder. Brie made it clear in her Instagram post that she doesn't blame anybody involved in the match. She has been around for a significant period of time. Both her and her husband are professional wrestlers. Her sister's a professional wrestler. Their stepdad was a professional wrestler. They come from professional wrestling. They have been around it their entire lives, pretty much. And injuries happen, accidents happen, and this was a bad bump, and it's part of the job. And Brie was very clear on her feelings on that. Brie is set to have scapula surgery, which is very rare. The damage must be pretty bad. I mean, it's broken in 3 places, so probably gonna plate it. If that scan is of Brie's scapula, that's a big hole. That's a big hole in a bone that shouldn't have a hole in it. Speculation is, and what she believes, she's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks while healing. So I hope she heals well. I don't ever like to see a professional wrestler or any athlete get hurt practicing their profession. I'm not a huge Bella's guy, but that doesn't take away from their athleticism or their ability in the ring. And I hope she heals well, and I hope to see her back in the ring very soon. We do have an update on another injured member of the WWE's women's division. The current WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, underwent the knife for the first time in her career. She had injured her meniscus and ACL. She had torn those ligaments in her right knee in June of this year in a match, and has been out of action since. The timeline for Rhea's return is a little more shadowy. We don't have a set date because it's 2 ligaments in the knee. It is going to take some significant physical therapy and occupational therapy, as well as rebuilding the strength, because she's going to lose a lot of strength in that leg and she's not going to be able to utilize it. So she's going to have to rebuild the quad and the hamstring, and all of the under muscles, the glute, her calves, all of that. I would say, because I've known guys who have torn their meniscus and their ACLs. I just never got mine fixed. A meniscus tear is probably 6 months with PT. ACL tear, I would say, is probably 9 months to a year, or at least it was when I was a football player. And now, granted, Rhea's probably got contact with some of the best doctors because of her profession, the company she works for, and her husband, Buddy Matthews, who we'll be talking about soon. That family did not stay healthy. It's just one thing after another, I swear. So honestly, I think we're not going to see Rhea until maybe SummerSlam of next. I really think that's going to be the case. I think Mania is too early. I don't think we'll see her at the Rumble. I don't think we'll see her at Survivor Series. This is why they did the interim title. With this prognosis, with both these tears and potentially being out up to a year, I would have rather have seen the WWE force a relinquishing of the title and then gone about the same ladder match instead of doing an interim thing. But the interim thing is more of a TKO thing, thanks to Endeavor. So I guess, but right now Chelsea Green's the champion. Hopefully she's healthy. I know she got injured with in a match this last week, broke part of her ocular bone on the left side. I'm hoping they're able to mask her and she can stay active. That sucks. The belt's cursed at this point, I think, guys. Moving on, not nearly as bad of news, but it's not great. Skylar Russell of Fightful reports that there is some serious interest in the WWE making changes to the Royal Rumble. I talked about this in a Shorts post, TikTok post last week, and we're going to talk about it. So it was announced that the 2027 Royal Rumble is going to take place in Arizona. Great. Cool. That actually could be really cool because that venue, they're using the Cardinals Stadium. It's going to be an awesome open air venue. Rumble in an open air venue. I love it. It's fantastic. There has been massive speculation online as to if the Rumble will move to a 2-night event like WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Now, WrestleMania moved to a 2-night event in 2020. And some of that was because of COVID. And they kept it a 2-night event because, well, why have one event when I can charge you for 2? And now they've done the same thing with SummerSlam. Right now, it is currently reported that the 2027 Royal Rumble is going to still only be 1 night. Okay, cool. But the company has expressed serious interest in turning it into a multiple night event. This would increase the value of the event from a shareholder perspective, with ticket prices increasing to service 2 nights, much like we saw the spike in WrestleMania tickets and the spike in SummerSlam tickets. Now, there is a way they can really, in my opinion, they can really do this right. 1 night can be men's, 1 night can be women's division. You'd be able to have your champions wrestle. You'd be able to have the main event for each night be the Mania for each division. Your undercard or your mid-card champions would be able to wrestle, and your tag teams would be able to be highlighted as well. So there is a way to do it that could make it very enjoyable from a fan perspective. Absolutely. I don't trust TKO as far as I could throw their building. And I firmly am aware that I am no longer part of the target audience for their company. It's their shareholders. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with as fans in and of this industry now. It sucks. It sucks for all of us. In a joint announcement by WWE and AAA, a new tournament for the number 1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship held by Roman Reigns has found its field of combatants. The who's who of AAA luchadors will fight through an 8-man tournament for the privilege to square off against the tribal chief at Raw in Mexico City. The field includes Penta versus Laredo Kid, Psycho Clown versus La Parca. I need to see that match. Dragon Lee versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I also need to see that match. And Rey Fenix versus El Fiscal. Looking at these matches, the outcome could be predictable, but there's always a chance at a surprise. This could also be quite telling for the outcomes of some upcoming matches for titles in AAA, including the Fatal 4-Way for the Latin American Championship. So I like this idea because it's WWE getting behind and Raw getting behind AAA. AAA, and I have said it time and time again, is right now my preferred brand of content from WWE. I love watching Lucha Libre. And the way I see this going and looking at the bracket, it's going to end up, in my opinion, probably being Rey Fenix versus Penta, the Lucha Brothers, because they're on opposite ends of the tournament. They're going to meet in the finals, and I think it's going to be Penta, and then we're probably going to have Penta lose against Roman is what I'm going to see. I think the 2 matches that are going to be crazy, that are going to surprise a lot of people of American audiences that are not familiar with how AAA does things or how crazy some of these guys are, is going to be Psycho Clown versus La Parka. Because, wow, there are literally two of the faces of the company, like, historically speaking. And Dragon Lee versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. I think those two specific matches are really going to surprise fans. I think it's going to bring a lot of great eyes to the AAA product and the way AAA does things. So this is all good, in my opinion, for that. I hate that it feels very predictable as far as who's going to end up facing Roman and what's going to happen. I don't see Roman dropping the title probably before Mania. I love the idea of a Penta push. I think Penta is ready for a main title. But like we've said before, and I've talked about before, that main title picture, both Raw and SmackDown, is very top heavy right now. So we'll see what happens. And time for me to eat my crow. August 7th. There's a timeline to this. Zilla Fatu has been given a hero send-off from House of Glory. At House of Glory event, High Intensity, Zilla lost the House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship to Amazing Red. A thank you chant erupted from the crowd as Red wished Zilla good luck in the future. When I had originally written this, I was going to talk about how Zilla still has the 4th rope heavyweight championship, and that he's not due to wrestle for that company until probably the 29th of August, which means he's probably not going to show up in WWE until September. And then August 11th, Tuesday night, happens, and Zilla Fatu debuted on NXT, folks. Now, I'll admit it, I was wrong. I was surprised when I saw this news pop up, because this popped like literally seconds after it happened on my TikTok feed. He interrupted the number 1 contenders match between Cruz Montana and Grayson Waller, attacking both. So, I have a TikTok /short about this from today. I'll probably link it. It's unclear at this time what Zilla's status is with 4th rope, being as he is still their world champion. We don't know if he's going to relinquish, defend, or just they're going to take the title back. I don't think it matters anymore. You have Zilla Fatu, Tony D'Angelo, Cruz Montana, Grayson Waller, and Mason Rook in your main event scene. What? Now, I'm really liking the new Tony D'Angelo. I like how much more hard he is of a dude. He is a much harder dude than when he was playing kind of the wannabe street godfather kind of character. This Tony ain't anybody to F with. But you have 5 very, very well-trained and hard-hitting men in your main event scene for the NXT Championship. And now I do believe this makes sense. This makes sense for NXT to pull this trigger now 2 weeks out from the event for Heat Wave, which is taking place on the 30th. Heat Wave, and I can't remember, and there's a AAA event, and then right after it is Heat Wave, same arena. And they are counter-programming All in Wembley. Now, how are you going to get eyes on your product? Super easy. You pop Zilla Fatu out. You have him look directly at Tony and go, "I'm coming for you," as he takes out Cruz Montana and Grayson Waller. And now everyone's talking about you, as opposed to Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the AEW Championship. I think this forces AEW's hand to get Kofi and Creed onto All In. I do. I also think this is going to probably be a huge ratings boost for NXT for Heat Wave because of this specific instance. Now, nothing has been released that I know of yet as to what they're planning on doing with Zilla. But I do believe we're going to see a Fatal 4-Way or a 5-way match. I don't see Mason Rook right now involved in things nearly as much. He's got his own stuff going on. But with these 4 guys, maybe a fatal 4-way, or they're going to do a 3-way match for a #1 contendership, and Zilla is just going to run through everybody. I don't know. I don't see Zilla going to the main roster yet. I have my own views on what I would like to see as far as Zilla's character, but that's yet to be determined. He feels very much, as a person, as I've watched him the last couple of years in wrestling, a good mix of Solo and Jacob Fatu, which is really interesting. So I don't think he needs to necessarily be in the Bloodline. I don't know. People are going to disagree with me. If you disagree with me, sound off in the comments. There are plenty of people who do nothing but preach the gospel of the OTC. And you know, I'm all about I'm all about being a fan. I'm all about being a fan of specific wrestlers. Man, some of you guys take this Bloodline stuff way too seriously. Wow. Moving on to the other promotion. The Devil returned. MJF made his return at AEW Grand Slam Mexico. Devil has returned and he wants what's due. The return came after Andrade El Idolo defeated Commander on the August 5th edition of AEW Dynamite that they co-did with CMLL called Grand Slam Mexico. It was a #1 contenders match for... Oh no, it was for the first spot in the Casino Gauntlet match. After the match, MJF attacked Andrade and then addressed the crowd, stating that he's an American hero, best professional wrestler in the world, and that he is the one true AEW World Champion. Now, he had a match on Collision, and I haven't seen any of his promos from that yet. But could we be seeing a new version of MJF character? Something like a bit more unhinged, breaking loose? Maybe. I know he's called out Will. He's called out Kenny. He's called out almost everybody. He believes he was slighted and wronged and should still be champion. Which is very much an MJF thing to do. But it's good to have Max back. I'm glad he took some time off. I'm hoping his knee's feeling better. It's good to have him back on TV. Let's see what comes out of this with All In Wembley coming up in a couple weeks. Who knows? Who knows? How you know? I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. The storylines are crazy. We have one more surprise. The prodigal son is set to return. It's been a year and a half since Buddy Matthews has been in the ring for AEW. A long year and a half. Matthews suffered a very serious ankle injury in February of 2025, literally just coming back from injury. That led to the significant time away. He had surgery on his ankle. It took forever to heal. I know there were some issues post-surgical with his healing. I think he pushed himself a little bit. But on his personal Instagram account, Matthews announced that he'll be making his full return in October of 2026. Buddy Matthews is needed. I don't know where he's going to land. I don't know where Mr. Rhea Ripley is going to be as far as storylines wise. Because when he left, House of Black was still a thing. You know, Julia Hart, Brody King, and Malachi Black were all still doing their thing. Now, I don't want to be speculative, but we do know that Tommy End is without a company right now. I know he's doing I think he's doing some MMA stuff over in Europe, on the East Coast maybe. I don't know. I know his wife's gotten back in the ring, but I don't know if Malachi Black will return to AEW. I think there's still some animosity in the locker room there, especially with guys like Jack Perry. I think some of the older guys would be fine with it. Obviously, Brody King would be they're close friends. but I think some of the issue is that there is a really poor leaving there. So I'm not 100% certain. I want to see Buddy Matthews be silly. Put him in the fucking conglomeration, folks. Dude, have him tag team with Mark Briscoe. That would be great. Or Orange Cassidy. That would be great. Just don't put him in the Don Callis family, please. I'm begging you, Tony. Don't put him in the Don Callis family. That faction is huge right now. Like just so many people. So many people. Don't do it. Please. Please. But I'm happy that Buddy's coming back. I've really missed him. I have loved his wrestling since he was a cruiserweight in WWE and when he won the 205 Live Championship. I don't know. Could you put him in Death Riders maybe? Possibly. Actually, that's something. That's an idea. You would fit okay with that. Or you team him up and just do a faction with Hangman Adam Page, Brody King, Bandito, and Buddy Murphy's. I mean, or Buddy Matthews. That would work too. I don't know. We'll see when October comes. We'll obviously be keeping an eye on any announcements when it comes to signings to AEW. So, because there's a few things that have been hinted at that I'm not going to speak on because they're beyond rumor, they're conjecture, and we don't deal in conjecture on this show. Okay? One final... TNA has officially announced a new corporate sponsor and partnership and mascot, according to Andrew Thompson of Fightful. Dude Wipes, the flushable wipes for manly men, have entered a partnership with TNA. As part of the partnership, the Dude Wipes mascot, Deuce, will have a custom storyline in TNA programming. Apparently, at TNA Lockdown on August 23rd, the Deuce will be loose. TNA. What is going on? Anthem, seriously, what are you doing to my boy? What are you doing to him? They are needing to bring back talent to refill the women's roster because that's just getting depleted. You're signing a bunch of old talent. You're making some new signings at cheaper deals. You lose some locker room leaders. Now, granted, you still have Jeff and Matt, the Namath brothers, and that's great. That's fantastic. I'm all okay with that. Does Dude Wipe still sponsor Dominic Mysterio then too? At least Dom hasn't had a wrestling match with Deuce. Just the jokes are all there. Jokes are all there, guys. There's so many jokes that I can make about this situation. The problem is they're all shitty. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you for checking out this episode of News and Rumor Roundup. Thank you to all of my supporters. I'll see everybody on the next episode. Make sure to check out, we have episodes of Out After the Bell coming out for the last 2 nights of Verano de Escandalo. I'll see everybody next time. Bye.